Hello everyone, my name is Nex, and today I am going to give you a rough overview of the block dropping alternatives that we have in Minecraft Bedrock Edition, since as you know, pistons are widely different from Minecraft Java Edition. But before we get into that, I will explain to you first what exactly block dropping is, and why it can be useful in certain things. And then of course show you how we sort of replicate or imitate that behavior in Bedrock Edition. Alright, short resume of what block dropping is. Now block dropping is a mechanic of Minecraft Java Edition pistons. And that mechanic is that if pistons are pulsed by a fast enough pulse, for example a 1-tick pulse from an observer, what would happen is that the piston would extend and retract fast enough to not pull the block back, so it would just push it forward like a normal block. So what would happen is that the sticky piston, if pulsed fast enough, so for example by an observer, would just act like a normal piston. But as you may know, that is not a thing in Bedrock Edition, and well, it just retracts. And that poses a number of problems with contraptions that should work on Java Edition, but will of course not work on Bedrock Edition, because, well, things are pretty different. It's not that Bedrock Redstone is bad, it's just different, and that's a thing many people don't seem to really understand. But anyways, as I said, this means that a number of things are not possible, notably very simple two-way flying machines. Now, you have probably seen a design like this for Java Edition a million times that is basically a two-way flying machine. And, of course, that is also requiring another feature, which is quasi-connectivity, which would power this piston from that observer, but that is not really a big issue. We can bypass that easily by just having the, well, having the observers face down. But anyways, the point of block dropping is that it would, well, leave this section in front. So if we were to pulse this piston right here, what would happen in Java Edition, that this one right here would be left in front. In fact, let me just get you some honey so that I can demonstrate what I mean. So let's replace that. What would happen is that the honey section would be left in front and would pull, of course, that sticky piston into the front, and that sticky piston would get activated by the observer and would pull back the slime section, and it would advance forward. We can just simulate this by placing a normal piston right there. Of course, it will not be two-way, but it is enough to demonstrate what I mean. So let's just place that back here, and let's activate this. As you can see, it does not pull back the honey section. And, well, that is how a two-way flying machine would work in Java Edition, because, of course, it would also work the other way. And, by the way, it can just all be slime, I just did that to demonstrate. However, if we do actually set it up like it would be in Java Edition, it just breaks randomly. And it does break randomly because piston update order is random, as you may have seen in a document from Earth Computer that I have shared in one of my last videos. I will put it in the description again. And things like these happen. Now, that is not one of the main things that can happen. There are also a variety of other things. Notably, let me just demonstrate this. Usually this happens, that it just randomly goes back and forth and all that jazz, and well, that is not a very good thing, because, well, no block dropping. Now that you have the basic idea of how block dropping is useful for flying machines, or, well, to be exact, two-way flying machines, I am going to show you some ways we can bypass this, well, restriction by making use of some mechanics. So, the first one would be that, of course, pistons are unable to move other extended pistons. So let's just give that a try. Let's just demonstrate that. We can have a piston right here. If we extend that, and extend that, this piston will not be able to retract that section because that piston is extended. So as you can see, it will simulate block dropping. And that is what I have set up right here. So as you can see, it will leave the section out, and with that mechanic we can make a two-way flying machine. Now this is a flying machine that I have got from zundappchef, and I already used it previously in some other, farms, for example in a melon and pumpkin farm. Let me just set up a flying machine real quick. It's very easy, it's very simple, and the basic idea is that, well, you have two sections like this. Let's just get some obsidian, and as you can see, it is a flying machine that goes in one direction. It does not skip in things. We can just stop it. And, well, guess what? It also works in the other direction. So that is one way you can bypass the lack of block dropping by making use of extended pistons. And, well, that way you can make sure that the front sections that get pushed get left in front, so that this piston right here will be able to pull back. Now this design in particular achieves that by extending the pulse of at which the piston is left extended. So this is because, well, if this piston gets pulsed once, the observer will detect it twice. So we can just demonstrate that. As you can see, it will get left out a little longer than if I just do it like that. And that plays the major role in making this flying machine work. As you can see, this one will stay extended for a little longer, this one, and it will not allow this pushing sticky piston to retract the front section, and this one will be able to pull back this section right here, which makes for an effective two-way flying machine design. Now, taking a step away from flying machines, we can just make use of the simple concept of just pushing the piston itself. So, if you don't know what I mean, let's just demonstrate that. As you can see, that one pulls it just fine. But of course, when this bottom one pushes up, since this one is only the sticky part, this one, when it gets moved, it does not have any sticky properties. This block gets left behind. However, when we pulse the top one again, it pulls it back and spits it out. That is also useful in a flying machine design by Flolan. And again, you know most of these people. And, well, either way, the basic idea is that you just push up this piston right here. And guess what? The block gets left behind. This is also useful in a number of piston doors, but yeah, it's pretty basic. And this concept in particular, I have seen first from a friend of mine called James. And however, it has been around a long time before, so yeah, it has been used a lot in piston doors and stuff. So I'm not just pointing that out, but that's how it goes. Now this is Flolan's engine that I am talking about, and this one is a little faster than the previous one that I've showed from zundappchef. And quite simply put, if you just look at this, it's very simple. It just pushes the front section, and because this one is not having any sticky properties, well, it is being pushed itself, it will not cause any issues with pulling back, and that's how we simulate block dropping. However, with the extra speed comes, of course, the cost that you have to have a more complicated return station, and it is quite simple. However, you just have to push these middle two pistons, and then it just works the other way around. So that's another two-way flying machine design. Now this next two-way flying machine design is a little, cheaty in terms of trying to bypass the limitations of not having the block dropping, because, well, you're just basically swapping out a sticky piston for a normal piston. But nonetheless, it works, and I'm just going to show you how it works. The basic idea is that you have it like this, and what you do, if you do want to make it go the other way, you just have to push this middle section, just like the other one. But unlike the other one, the idea with this one is that, well, you just push the middle section, and you get the normal pistons to do the work. And yeah, that is a little different concept, but this is also one way to bypass the lack of block dropping. Now, this next way to bypass block dropping is just making use of, well, the simple fact that you cannot retract terracotta, well, glazed terracotta blocks, so you can push them, but you cannot pull them. And, well, that is a very simple concept, and through that you can make fast and, well, rather easy to set up two-way flyers, and this one has been very popular across, well, you know, whatever. I currently have it set up so that it goes this way, but of course you can also make it go the other way, so I just believe you would have just to push it that way. And when you do push it that way, okay, I guess not, like this, as you can see, it goes the other way. So the idea is just that you push one of the sections, and then one of the sticky pistons will push on a terracotta block, while the other retracts on a slime block. And if you stop it and push it back in the other direction, well, it does the same, but in the other direction. This one will push on a terracotta block, and the other would pull on a slime block. Now, I am not really a slimestone god. I am in fact pretty bad at slimestone, but this is just basic redstone mechanics, and it's fairly easy to understand, and that's why I am also sharing it with you. And, well, you know, we gotta have two-way flying machines in Bedrock, even though we don't have block dropping, and this makes it possible. You could also make use of the fact that slime and honey don't stick, but I have not seen a two-way flying machine utilizing that mechanic yet, and besides there isn't really a reason to, because, well, it just makes things bulkier, and you might as well just either go for the terracotta one, or the switching the middle pistons one, or just the extending pulse one, which are all very good options. And although honey was seen as the saving grace for slimestone, or, well, now people like to refer to it as sticky stone, I still refer to it as slimestone, many people looked at it as the saving grace of slimestone, but honestly, it's not that useful. But anyway, that is the basic idea of block dropping alternatives. So one last time, let's just give ourselves an overview of our available block dropping alternatives. So first off, we have the one where we make use of extended pistons not being able to be retracted, and we achieve that in flying machines by just extending the pulse, and, well, that leaves the section behind. The next one is just pushing the piston that is supposed to pull, so as you can see, that will just leave the block behind. The next one after that is just glazed terracotta. And after that, you can push this to the side, and to make it two-way, this one will pull that block back once it is actually properly pushed back into place. So if we do that, it will be able to pull again. The next one is literally just cheating the system by pushing a normal piston into place. So let's just do that for a second. We're just going to push that into place. And so instead of that one, this one is going to be triggered, and it will in fact just leave this section behind. And the last one is not really useful at all, but slime and honey don't stick to each other, so if we just extend that, it will leave the honey behind, which is also a theoretical application of block dropping. Now this next one, I have to admit that I didn't really do the research, but what I do know is that this leaves, well, this block behind, and that's sort of also a way to do block dropping. Again, I'm not too sure how exactly this one works. I believe it's something to do with the piston update order, seeing that also sometimes it does retract, and sometimes it really doesn't want to retract at all. But yeah, so if you do want to know how that one works, there is a link in the description. I found this one from Oare TV. I also saw it on the TechRock Discord. So Oare is a well-respected member of the TechRock Discord. And well, if you want to join that, just go on the TechRock website. You can find it quickly through Google. But anyways, yeah, this is also a way of doing block dropping, and it's pretty cool. Although there is not much practical application for this one, unlike all the other methods that are pretty well done and used in flying machines. So the conclusion is that block dropping is not all that useful in Bedrock, except for, well, two-way flying machines, or well, just all kinds of slimestone tech that is more advanced than a one-way flying machine. It is also useful in piston doors, and that's really all I can think of. There's not really many other uses for block dropping. Of course, there are T-flip-flops and stuff, but we have other methods of doing T-flip-flops, which is honestly fine. Yeah, well, it is a cool mechanic. I don't think it is, very needed in Bedrock gameplay. And it is largely over-exaggerated by players that want Java redstone features in Bedrock Edition, how much they're needed. They're not really needed at all, and it's mostly just that people are too lazy to get familiar with the Bedrock redstone, and they just want to follow the more common Java Edition tutorials that are on YouTube. But, well, we all know that full parity will never happen, and I doubt real block dropping is ever going to come to Bedrock Edition, so these alternatives are just going to do it for us. Well, of course, that's more annoying because we will have more blocks to push, which means less wide flying machines for sweepers and all that stuff. Well, it is not too bad, honestly. And I think the Bedrock redstone system, well, it is sort of flawed, is a good concept. So no, I don't really think we need real block dropping, and these block dropping alternatives are going to do just fine in what we really need. Besides, most of the Bedrock player base is not really technical at all, but guess what? That's why you are here probably, I suppose. Well, anyways, I hope you found this interesting and that I could have provided you some insight on what block dropping is, why it can be useful, and why we don't really need it on Bedrock Edition because of the things shown behind me. But anyways, check out the links in the description. There are some people like zundappchef, Oare TV, Flolan, and all that jazz down in the description, so make sure to subscribe to them. And yeah, because they are cool people and they are very smart people, and I'm just sharing this knowledge with you. But with that being said, I hope you very much enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe because I do keep interesting videos like these coming on a regular basis. With that being said, my name is Nex, and bye bye.